this is a tough question for me because I want to go back to the 1960s when the black-white thing was going on. And Motown sort of broke the barrier for the black barrier, but you guys broke the barrier the other way. You seem to bridge the gap between black and white the other way when you were signed by making your records hip and cool, even though you were white, to the black people.
Exactly. Well, how that happened is that being from Detroit and Motown being from Detroit, we grew up with Motown, so we were working clubs for 8 years prior, to signing with Motown. So we were playing all of Motown songs, and we were doing Get Ready in clubs work and using it as our finale. We stretched it out to 20 minutes, and people would stick around the very end of the night to listen to it, so we knew it was something special. And eventually signing with Motown in '69, we decided, heck, we got to record this thing and put it all on one record.
You seem to, that song that came out after you guys were a hit, Played That Funky Music, White Boy. You seem to really represent that as far as, having the funk or be one of the first bands to do it.
Well, we grew up with R&B roots, and that's what we all love to play, and being from Detroit and so close to Motown, it just was ingrained in us.
And you got to pardon me, I'm from California, so it's a miracle. How on earth did you ever get signed to Motown?
Actually, Margaret Gordy saw us, was a friend of a friend, and they said, hey, there's a great band you got to hear, and they brought her out, and she heard us and liked us, and turned on to Barney Ailes, who worked at Motown as Barry's right-hand guy, and he came out to see us, and they gave us a proposition. And at first we weren't really sure whether we wanted to do that, being that we were white going into an all-black company, but they told us of their intentions of opening a whole new division of Motown, which was going to be all white, and we were going to be the first and headlining act on that division. And they hadn't named the new division yet, and just jokingly we said, call the new label Rare Earth. They said, okay. And they gave it to us. So at that point in time, we knew this is for real. They're going to really get behind us, because we were going to reap the promotion off of the introduction of the whole new division of Motown, as well as having our own label name, which showed that they really had a lot of trust in us and faith in us, and that was it.
Can you give me a Motown story, like seeing Stevie Wonder record there at the Motown House, or can you even describe that? I understand it was just like Berry Gordy's sister's house. Is that what it was back then?
No, Berry bought several homes on West Grand Boulevard and converted the one. They had their offices, and he had an apartment upstairs in the house. Downstairs was the studio and Studio A, and that's where we cut Get Ready. And when we went in there, we started at midnight, and because our time and our deal was free, actually, $100 a song, believe it or not. And but we had to record from midnight to whenever. So we went in there and we told them that our intentions were to record as live as we could, everybody playing as much as possible, everything like we normally do in club. The only thing we wanted to overdub would be the voices. And they couldn't believe that, because that's not the format that they used at all. They would, do instrumentals, bring in vocalists, and do piece by piece, And we felt if we all played at once on our records, it would have more of the live feel that we were used to, rather than piecing it together. And that's what we did, and it turned out great.
I worked with Wolfman Jack, and he believed in that too. He thought having them all in the studio, that was the best music ever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see the Four Tops or the Supremes in there? Or you
oh, sure. Oh, yeah. We were with Detroit in Detroit before we went to Los Angeles. So in Detroit, everybody was in and out of the offices. We got a chance to meet and go to a lot of parties with Diana Ross and Stevie and Marvin Gaye and the whole crew. It was just phenomenal. It was a great experience.
When you became successful, what was that like? Can you describe some of the hits for me, like Losing You, and I love the echo in that song.
Yeah, that was Norman. Norman was a master editor and mixer. And Get Ready we did and produced ourselves, and then the second album was Ecology, and we brought Norman in to do I Know I'm Losing You on that album, and he wanted to do it similar, to have the same kind of things that Get Ready had in Losing You also. So he started us jamming actually in the studio, and kept us going for about 48 minutes long. and just he would run up his head arranging. He had a towel around him and sweating like a madman and running. And when he'd hear something, he'd point at you. In other words, he wants you to do something. Come up, start soloing, or get louder. And he just had arranged it and directed it as we played it for 48 minutes. He edited it down to 13 minutes for the album and then edited a 3-minute single out of it. And it's an amazing guy to work with.
Amazing story.
Yeah.
How about Celebrate? The way you kick it off, was that meant to be a jam with the, and you know, the drum solo in there?
No, Celebrate is another thing. We were going into the studio one night in Detroit to record another song. And in this studio, they had writers' booths. They had about 6 or 7 rooms with pianos in them where there's just writers would sit in there and they'd just write all day, every day. And we walked into the studio at midnight one night to record something, and a couple of the writers, Dino Frakaris and Nick Zissis, who wrote I Just Want to Celebrate, Hey Big Brother, and many other hits, came running out and said, hey, check this song out. We just finished the song. See what you think of it. And they took us in the room and they banged out Celebrate on the piano, and we fell in love with it right away. We go, oh, man, that's a hit. We love that thing. So we changed our plans, scrapped all of our notes of what we were going to do, and went in and recorded Celebrate, started it at midnight and finished it at 8 in the morning, complete, vocals, everything. And it happened quick. And when they happen quick like that, usually they're hits.
How about Hey Big Brother? One of my favorites just because of the guitar lick in it.
That was also written by Nick and Dino, and they played that tune for us, and we loved that tune. And I can't really remember too much about the recording of it. It was very easy, came together easy. We've definitely found out that the songs that come together easy and they're more like automatic than they have it right there, right in the beginning, and it's just not something you have to labor with and do take after take after take after take, and you wind up using the first take that you started with. You know, generally that's the way it works in the studio.
Now, we were talking to you on the radio about the California Jam. So can you describe what that was like, being the opening band for the very first California Jam?
It was awesome, and get your heart pumping. The adrenaline was pumping, I'm telling you, because you get up on stage and you look at all you can see is heads as far as you can see. And it's undescribable. It was just awesome, and it was a thrill, a real thrill. And a thrill, and feel so privileged to even be on that show, to be there, considered one of the top groups, you know, and it was wonderful.
What about now? What are your audiences like now? Do you get a mixture of the old crowd and the new, the parents bringing their children or college kids?
We do a lot of fairs and festivals, outdoor things with, and where it's baby boomers generally come with their children also, and we wind up getting both of them. You know, the parents are grooving and having a good time and loving the songs from the past, and then their kids are up there jamming with it too, and that really makes us smile, because to see a generation come together with music that they both like is really nice, because most of the times the kids hate what their parents hated, you know. So that was really nice, and it's still happening today. Our audiences in Europe, surprisingly, are younger. They're, I would say, from 18 to 25, 30 years old, basically. And I think it comes down from hand-me-down records over there, but they really love American classic rock groups in Europe. They really do. More so than I think, here.
Any future projects or any of your songs that you know of that's going to be used on movie soundtracks or anything like that?
Well, there have been quite a bit. Celebrate was used in I forgot the name of the song. What was the movie with George Clooney and the big wave?
I'm trying to think.
With that huge wave, the big storm or something like that. Yeah, they used Celebrate in that, and they've used the songs in quite a few movies, which is great. You know, I love to see it. You know.
When you were performing in the 70s, some of the acts that you worked with, like Motown, did you work with Tina Turner too, and some of the others like Creedence Clearwater Revival?
We've worked pretty much with almost everybody at one time or another. There aren't too many I can think of that we didn't. So it's been 35 years of playing with all of the great people, and still running across them now and then on the road after seeing them and not seeing them for so long. So it's great reunions a lot, you know. So we've done a lot of stuff with Three Dog Night and Chicago, Blood, Sweat and Tears. A lot of stuff with Blood, Sweat and Tears, and list goes on. I mean, it's Guess Who, BTO, and a lot of great groups. And I love listening to all those groups because, they were a lot of my favorites because the ones that were before us. So it's great to be in their company.
Now, one last question. I want to get your own take on this because, again, going back to the beginning of the black-white thing, and then when you came out, the Beatles had broken up, and it kind of opened the door for a lot of acts like yourself. What's your own take on that? At the time you came on the scene, obviously it was a tense time, but what's your take on how you guys just came along really at the right time? It seems to me like it.
That's what it is. It's like it's destiny or fate or whatever you want to call it. I mean, we were just in the right city, playing the right kind of music at the right time, and Motown saw us right at the right time. And I have a lot of friends in Detroit that are great musicians, and I knew a lot of really good bands that never made it just because they didn't have those the blessings happen to them. And that happens a lot in this business. And you can have a great band, and if you don't have that little bit of luck going on your side or blessings, whatever you want to call it, you might never be known of, or except locally of wherever you work. But it's just amazing. It amazing me. It's just I thank the Lord for it every day that I even got a chance to do it.
Anything else I didn't ask you that I should have, or that you want to add?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Honored to meet you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. I really enjoyed hearing your story encapsulated like that. That's pretty cool, man. That's really a great story.
That was his first question because we were both wondering, okay, well, what should we ask you?